One Diaz, Little Caesar,
Queen B. That's me.
check it. Yo, I be buying V's, so all my girls be eyeing C's. Coming backstage, dying to get pleased. You got me, I rock the Versace and linen. While you spotting and grinning with a bunch of foxy women. While you speedball with...
Alright, you guys, so we're going to jump right into the process of making this wig. The first thing you'll need is this spandex dome style wig cap that I'm showing you here. This can be found at your local beauty supply store. Next, you'll need some Salon Pro 30-second super hair bonding glue, also found at your local beauty supply store. And this is how the spandex dome cap looks. You're also going to need a mannequin head holder and a mannequin head. I got my mannequin head and holder from Sally's. You don't necessarily need this mannequin head holder, but it does help. And also, you're going to, of course, need hair. The hair I'm going to be using today is this Caribbean curl style hair, and it's by the company Outre, and this is their 1-pack solution. This is a really tight curl, really pretty hair curl pattern. As you can see me taking it out of the box and showing what it looks like. It has a 20-inch, two 18-inch bundles, and a 16-inch, and also I believe the closure piece that's on there is 16-inch closure. Can't remember exactly. But this is just me showing you the hair and how it looks come out of the package. Just took that net off, and it has some string tied around it. Curl pattern is really pretty. This hair was very affordable. It was only about no more than $25 for 1 pack. 1 pack is definitely enough, and it's enough as long as you put the proper spacing in between the tracks. You want to do about 1 inch or 1/2 inch in between each track. If you are a person who likes to make their tracks really close together, then I would recommend getting 2 packs of hair. So at this point, I'm just showing you how to apply the glue to the weft, which is pretty much easy. Is 1, 2, 3. You just want to take your glue, apply a small amount. You don't want to apply too much because it'll get messy and be hard for it to dry. Just apply your glue, and then you want to apply it onto your dome cap. And when you apply it on there, you kind of want to just take your fingers and rub across the weft so it can sink into that dome cap, and then hold it for maybe about 25 seconds so it can get tacky and so it can stick to the dome cap. And this glue, it dries fairly quickly, which is a good thing. So you just want to hold it on there, press it, make sure it gets tacky. Now I'm showing you how I measure out the weft so I can determine how much I need to cut. You basically just want to take your weft around the dome of the wig and the cap, measure about how much you want to take off with your finger, cut it, and then apply the glue. And again, you don't want to apply too much glue. And this part of the video is going to be pretty repetitive, so I'm going to come back after I show you the closure, which is coming up. So this is the cheap closure that they give you in this pack. You can go buy a separate closure, but I'm going to use this one just to show what it can be used. If you want a more natural looking closure, I would recommend going to buy a separate one, because this closure is not going to be completely natural. It's not lace, it's not silk. It's what I like to call imitation lace, but it does the job. So I'm going to show you how I apply the actual closure. You want to measure it out in the front of the dome cap or the front of your wig, and those 2 lines that are right there, those 2 seams that are right there on the dome cap, which I'm going to show in a little bit, will help you determine where to place your closure at to make sure that it's on there in the front. Those 2 lines right there, the seams, it'll show you exactly where you need to place your closure at if you have a closure that's about 4x4 or about this size. So now I'm just taking some pins to pin it on there. Like I said, this closure is really cheap. It gets the job done, though. It's for those, bad hair day type wigs. If it was longer, this closure would be bomb, but for the price. But it's just so short and stubby. So at this part, again, I'm just showing you measure your weft, cut it, and make sure you got, enough weft out. At this point, I'm bringing my tracks up to the closure now that I have the closure on there, and applying my glue. I also recommend applying your closure on first, because it'll help you with guiding where to lay your tracks at. If you're a beginner. Now, if you are used to doing quick weaves and all that stuff, then you're good. But if you're a beginner, if this is your first time, I would recommend putting that closure on first. And I would recommend also sewing that closure on, because the gluing it on is not going to last. If you sew it on, it'll be much, much, much helpful for you as far as placing your tracks. And so as you can see, I'm just cutting, measuring, cutting, applying the glue, and then applying the weft onto the dome cap. And again, you want to just rub it on there, make sure it gets dry, make sure it gets tacky so it can stick onto that dome cap. And so this part is, like I said, pretty repetitive, so I'm just going to go ahead and just let you guys see versus me talking and being a distraction. on this part, you guys, basically all I did was I continued the method that I was saying that I was doing. I just kept laying the tracks from the back straight, and I will lay 2 on the side as I see I needed to do it. So you just basically eyeball it, and then once it got smaller, I just continued to lay, and I'm gonna keep laying them, going horizontally until I get to the end where I pinned the end of this closure at. And you're gonna, I know it looks weird right now, but just you're gonna see what it's gonna look like once I take it off, or once I push the wig cap all the way back, and then the closure is gonna be sitting on top. So again, all I did was take my track, my weft, and cut it into strips this long, okay, and just laid it going boom, 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 boom. And I probably put 2 tracks on this side, on the sides like this, just to get it closed in. So you basically just wanna, it's like a puzzle piece, like a puzzle. 2, 1 on the side, 1 right here, 1 on the other side. You just keep doing that till you see fit, until you get it to where it's small enough, and then you just begin to close it on the way up. So I'm gonna finish doing that part, and I'm gonna come back once I get this closed in and show you how to get this closure and how it's gonna look. So here is, well, it's not finished, but here is just me showing you the top of that closed. Woo! Close it in really second zoom. So you can see how I close that in just by basically laying the tracks going horizontally to the front. And the closure is right here. I'm gonna do that step. Oh, I got glue in my hand, child. Don't worry, this stuff comes right off. See, watch this. Right off. But anyways, I'm gonna just do a separate clip of me doing the closure. I'm gonna do that part separately. I just wanted to come in here and show you me closing off the wig. Another thing you need to know is that this, because we use glue, the wig will be, the wig itself will be stuck to, let me try to, it will be stuck to the mannequin head. So, yeah. Once I finish the wig, I will show you guys a finishing result, style it up and cut it and stuff. But yeah, we still have to get this part. I'm gonna show you how to lay this cheap ass closure down. So stay tuned for that part. All right, you guys, so here is the finishing results of the wig. I've got all of the hair put onto the wig, and now we're just going to go ahead and add on this little cheap closure. So let me go ahead and take the wig head off of the mannequin head. When you guys take the wig off the mannequin, it will be kind of stuck to the mannequin head, but it's not stuck to the point where you can't take it off. Like, you can take it off. But this is what the wig's gonna look like on the inside of the mannequin. It's gonna have, like I said, some of the mannequin head on there, and that stuff comes right off. Like, you can just scrape it off, but I'm not gonna do that part yet. And also, if you wanna watch it, you can. But here is the wig without the closure piece. And I'm gonna show you how to go ahead and get that closure piece put on there. Now, with this wig, you can you can use this closure piece, or you could cut it and turn it into a U-part wig and have leave out. But I'm gonna do the closure piece. Show you guys how to do the closure piece. Okay, now that I have this back onto the mannequin, as remember when I told you guys earlier, I know it looks weird on the mannequin, but the closure piece is going to be on top of the wig. Well, as you can see, I got the wig on the mannequin head, like how it would sit on your head, and the closure piece is up there right at the top. So if it looks weird to begin with, don't worry, it's supposed to look like that. So first, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to line up the closure. Now, the way these closures are made, it has all this extra netting that you're not going to use. and then it has the brown lace. Oh, I'm not even in frame. The way these closures are made, it has all this netting that you're not even going to use to camouflage as far as lace goes, and then it has the actual imitation lace down the middle. So it's not really that big, much of space for you to use for the lace part. So this is what we're gonna work with. This netting is what we're gonna work with to sew it on. So I am going to start, and again, we're gonna sew this on rather than glue it. I have my needle and my thread here. And I'm sure you guys have seen thousands. If you watch this video, you've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of videos of me sewing on, of people sewing on closures. So this part I'm kind of just gonna speed through. Okay, so when you are sewing on the lace closure, you basically wanna the black netting that I showed you that was around the closure, you can pretty much cut that off because we're not going to be using that at all. So you just want to start from the very end of where that closure ends at, and then wherever your tracks end at, that's where you want to sew. And you just want to do a basic hand stitch because you want the closure and your tracks to end and begin at the same spot. I wish I could figure out how to zoom in and show you guys. Okay, there we go. So basically, where the closure is ending right here, if you guys can see that, right here, you want to just sew that to meet where your wefts or your tracks stop laying. So, here's the closure, right here, and then here's where we stop laying our wefts. So you basically want to sew those two parts together. Okay, you all, so here is the finishing results of the Quickweave wig. I'm sorry I didn't really go into detail about the closure. It was really hard to record that part. It's my first video, and also my camera ran out of storage. I need to go buy some more storage, which I just did. But anyways, here is that closure. Here's what it looks like. Basically what I did was I finished up sewing that closure on, and then I added on some concealer to that part. I basically mixed, sorry if I'm shaking the table, but I basically used my concealer palette that I got from Ruby Kisses. This is the palette that I used, and I used this color and these two. I mixed these two colors together to put into the part. You can use whatever concealer or foundation that you have, it'll work. And I put that on that part, and then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this part lay a little bit flatter, and I'm going to just spray it with water or hairspray and tie a scarf around it and let it sit on there for probably a full day or however long I need it to sit so it can get flat. But I want to come back on and show you guys a video about how I install it and how I put it on to make it look natural. So, but this is the finishing results. Just some tips. If you are not a fan of this closure, because I am not a fan of this closure, but you know, it doesn't look horrible. This is basically a closure that you wear at a club or at a party or somewhere where the lights is gonna be off and you're not gonna be like, this is not a daytime wig. This is stuff you throw on at nighttime and you know you're about to be out, because you don't want nobody all up on your head looking at this closure. Okay, these one pack solution hair, the Outres and the models, they're great hair for a quick do and a temporary do, but I would recommend going out and getting a different closure because these closures just they cool. But you know, it's 2017, honey, and we seen closures that look like your scalp. So, you know, with that being said, I'm gonna try it on to see if I can make it work. I know it can work because I've worn a wig before where with one of these closures on it and it looks great. Actually, a couple of my, I don't remember which video it is, but a couple of my videos, I had a wig that I made with one of these closures, and the closure looked perfectly fine. I wore it out in the daytime, and it looked fine. But yes, with these wigs, you can put hats on with them. You can tie scarves around them if you don't want the closure to show. But the wig itself, the hair itself, is just bomb. So here is the finishing results of the wig.